just really want something to remember you by. No, folks, I'm currently, let me just make sure it's recording. It is recording. Excellent. I'm currently doing a certificate for in training and assessing. And as one of my assignments, I have to demonstrate that I can facilitate group learning. So, with your permission, I need to record 2 sessions just to demonstrate to my assessors that I can do this. Having said that, if you object to being recorded, please don't feel bad about telling me. I don't have to record it. If you don't feel comfortable telling me now, please don't feel afraid to come and tell me after class. It is not you who is being assessed. It's me who's being assessed. Yeah, so they're not recording it to try and judge you, they're judging me. Okay, so does anybody not feel comfortable? Or? Honestly, if you don't feel comfortable and you can't tell me now, please tell me after class. And I'll just delete it. Okay? Alright. I'm just going to go through the roll. Courtney.
She's not here.
Not here. Okay. She alright?
Yeah, she should be.
Cool. Emma. Wade. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Not too bad. Joe.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yep.
Elizabeth. David, I saw you. Where are you? There you go. Trish, there you are. Emily, I saw her before. Where is she? Heather, there you are. Saw you as well. Alana, how are you? Lana?
Yep.
Lana, what is a turtle lover?
I spoke to my turtle people. They came back to me and said turtle enthusiast is probably the most appropriate terminology.
Really?
Yes.
Right. So
That's from Turtles Are Us.
Is it really?
Turtles Are Us.
I love it. I love it. I love that you did that, and thank you. You've made my day richer for it. Thank you very much. Where are we? Christy.
Yes.
How are you? Brianna. How you doing? Darcy.
Yep.
How are you, mate? How's that claw machine? Laura. Kellyanne. Kelly. Darren. Well, good on you, mate. That flannel was rocking today. Melanie.
Yeah.
How you doing? I want to talk to you about your pastoral care at St Andrews sometime. Kate, I saw you before. How you going? Whoops. Yeah. Kayla.
Yeah.
How you doing? Dominique.
Yep.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Laura.
Oh, I was probably the second Laura.
Second Laura. That's what I thought, because you're in my AR class. I'm like, hang on, my system's falling apart. What about the other Laura? There's no other Laura? Alright. Danielle.
Yeah.
How are you doing? The other Laura?
I got lost.
Oh, you got lost. No. And Taylor.
Yes.
How you going?
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thanks very much. Is there anybody that I missed? Wonderful. All right, who did their readings? Oh, you're amazing, you lot. What was it about?
The reading was about 2 teachers who are women and are living out in this country.
Excellent.
Do you want to know what's it? And they were talking about their struggles within a male-dominated culture out in the rural, and how they fit in, try and be a deputy or try and be a principal, in a nutshell.
Beautiful, beautiful. So there were issues of gender in a rural town, gender with regards to what? Education?
More leadership than education, because they don't mind if females are teachers, just not in charge of the male teachers.
Social roles.
Yeah.
Excellent. What else?
It kind of talked about how their socioeconomic status impacted what they believe about gender and how their families and kind of kind of predetermined boys' ideas about females, and they talk to them as teachers.
Excellent. Brought in the socio-economic factors. Anyone else?
And going off that point, there seems to be more violence in those schools. And I think they said that they don't have the resources, the kids themselves, for a non-violent conflict resolution.
Yeah, tied in again to issues of gender norms and expectations. Beautiful. What else?
They started to introduce towards the end ways in which to create more gender equality as such and try and reduce that boy, that masculinity in the boys and that violence, whatever comes with it. Stereotypical violence, trying to balance that back out.
Excellent. Which was partly responsible for the sort of the limitations placed against women in these positions of authority. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So there are these sort of structural limitations being placed on women in rural areas that are connected to socio-economic perspectives or values or attitudes or practices or beliefs, right? And there are some women, 2 women, what were their names? Phoebe Monica, hey, friends, who were at some level trying to do what?
Wasn't it like about pedagogies of subversion to what they did to change? I just looked at there.
You're a legend. I'm cool with that though, dude.
So pretty much it was just what they were doing in their schools to subvert the gender stereotypes.
Pedagogies
So
of subversion.
Yeah, critical literacy skill, like critical literacy activities and things to try to challenge what the kids thought about gender.
Beautiful, beautiful. Pedagogies, what do we call it?
Pedagogies of subversion.
Oh, I love it. Subverting these structural limitations that maybe make women feel that they can do certain things and they can't do certain things. Or more appropriately, that they should do certain things and should not do certain other things. That their value is different because they're a woman. Their access to certain resources and certain forms of capital are different because they're women. Yeah? Nice. Pretty happy with that. How they do it? Remember we asked 3 questions.
2 interviews.
Yeah.
Over for each teacher.
Okay, so 2 interviews or?
4, was it 4?
No, it was 4 in total, but 2 each.
You just got interviews with 2 people.
Oh.
But sort of, you can make that sentence easier, yeah, if you're using a few mnemonic tools. So interviews with 2 women teachers over a protracted period of time. There's case study here, case study to 2 women, all sorts of things, right? Excellent. What does it mean? Why did we get you to read it? Before you answer that, what did you think of it? Oh. Confusing? What else?
I thought compared to the chapter in the textbook, it was a lot more concise. I was talking to someone about it before, and they were like, it went on, there's like, if you read the chapter in the textbook, that went on. Where like, I like the journal article where it was only about 8 or 9 pages, and it was just, I found it all quite relevant to what we're learning.
Nice, excellent, that's what I like to see, beautiful. Where am I? Oh, I know, but... there you go. I just lost you, because I usually work alphabetically. No, excellent point. Okay, so you found it a little bit better than the chapter.
Absolutely.
Who did the chapter? Lovely, excellent, awesome, fantastic. Wonderful. Did anybody find it a bit annoying?
Yes.
Tell me why, or resounding. Why did you think it was long? Not compared to the chapter, apparently.
Oh no, the chapter.
Oh, the chapter was long. So let me clarify, did anybody find the article annoying?
Yep.
Why?
The words are too long.
Wordy, bit verbose.
Yes.
You know, that's a critical statement. You're actually using your skills of analysis to say, you know, between us we've come up with a pretty good analysis of what the article was about, how they did it. You've also got within you the ability to say critically, it was a bit verbose. You know, I found it a little repetitive as well. You know, so these things, to critique it is not a bad thing. To have that reaction is a good thing. It means you're engaged with the text. Wonderful. What else was wrong with it?
I was going to say something. Is it, how do you say furthermore?
No, you have to say it with a French accent. But you.
I thought it made his
No,
theory...
say it, but you.
I thought it made his theory easier to understand than the one from last week.
Interesting, isn't it? There's a relationship between the two. It's hard to say, is that because you read last week's and it was
Well, it
played
gave
out?
it a bit more of a context, maybe?
Yeah, but those examples where I said the other
Excellent.
one was just straight up theory with no examples, so if you didn't understand what it's saying, just like gone.
So the two together are probably better than each.
Wonderful. Now this brings me to an important point. If this week kind of built on last week, there is a good chance that next week will build on this week. So if you haven't been doing the readings, get on them now, otherwise you will further disadvantage yourself for the exam. Get on them now, right? It is a cumulative process. Awesome, you guys are smashing it, you're doing really well. How you going? That's okay, what was your name again? Kelly, excellent, thank you. Alrighty, yeah, it was a bit hard to unpack at times, I think. But you guys have done very, very well. So why did we get you to read it? What was the point? Why did we make you wade through these boring, repetitive chapters? And
So you can understand the teacher's perspective.
the teacher's perspective as a...
Something like that as well.
Excellent, excellent.
I think it was also trying to say that teachers have the power to sort of shift children's views. So it was saying that like this whole hierarchy of gender is also reinforced through like sport, the media and your family. So if your family has that same belief that males are at the top, the little kid's going to grow up thinking, oh yeah, well males are at the top because that's what mum and dad think. And so teachers, they're trying to, I think, influence teachers to try and do what like their teachers were doing, having an inclusive environment, saying that difference is accepted and it's a good thing and they should celebrate it. So that children in that class may then learn another perspective, like another adult perspective from their own family.
Wonderful, wonderful, nice, nice. Good take. Anybody else want to build on that?
Yeah, there was a good sentence there at the end that says promotes moments of disalignment and tension between the happiness and fields. So that really kind of summed up the whole article basically.
Beautiful, huh? Like, big statement, right? Wrapped up in so few words. Nice.
It kind of talked about also how, like, as a school, the teachers promoted it, so how the deputy principal wouldn't let them have a cheerleading team for the football players because they had so many sexual harassment problems within the school, and how, like, as a school you can kind of address that and make it, because the school is such a big part of the community, so that can kind of filter out.
I didn't know they were saying the school had the sexual harassment or during that time.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
Footballers.
when I read
think
it.
that they're talking about bulldogs.
Yeah, that's what it's right. So on the one hand,
Yeah.
so what was your take on it?
All it was that she was saying that no, we're not going to let these girls cheer on this sport because it's putting them down. Because at the time there was all this talk going about the sexual harassment, but more in an NRL sense.
And it was also the idea that the guys are the focus, and the
Yeah.
girls are subordinate just to support the guys, which is another
Yeah.
gendered relationship which kind of reinforces that disparity, that inequality. Yeah, that these teachers were trying to subvert. So these teachers are amazing; they can do all these wonderful things. But what do you reckon? Do you reckon you can just change kids' worlds that easily? Don't have to answer it just now. The point of it is that there are certain structural limitations. Right? We're going to start exploring those limitations in relation to location, so rural versus urban settings, class, gender, race, ethnicity, sexuality, range of things, right? That's what this course is all about. Yeah? So today we're dealing with the issues of urban versus rural areas. You guys are all over it, man. That was awesome. Talk to me. We talked about Bourdieu. That's how you have to say it. What were some of the words that came up from this week that you remember from last week?
Disparity.
Disparity. What's disparity?
Difference.
Excellent. Inequality, difference. What else? What were some of the Bourdieuian words?
Social capital.
So what's social capital?
The amount of connections and networks you can get in your life.
Excellent. And we talked last week about how that almost has an economic value. Your networks can translate to something material. Yeah? And you can get jobs from people you know. You can get things from people you know. Excellent. What else?
We talked about habitus again,
What's bloody habitus?
like our ways of being.
And wow, beautiful. Ways of being in the world. What does habitus sound like? Habitat. What is a habitat? Where we live, right? So another way of describing habitus is the lived experience, yeah, that shapes our ways of being in the world. Beautifully put, right? So, you know, hanging around with blokey blokes creates speech patterns, bodily comportments, expectations, beliefs, perspectives, orientations, yeah? Your lived experience shapes the way that you feel you should be in the world. Beautiful, man. Awesome. What other words? There was, what was the one capital you said? Social
Cultural
capital?
capital.
Cultural capital, what's cultural capital?
Cultural capital's got to do with your culture, basically,
Culture.
and
Alright.
where you're placed within that, within the society and what's surrounding you. And
Excellent.
trying to get a grasp of it.
How does that translate to something that will get us stuff? Remember, capital is like a resource that will get us stuff. You see how social networks can get us stuff? How can culture get us stuff?
Seems like with culture you are like exposed to more influences and more points of view.
Where do those influences come from?
Each other.
Excellent. Each other. What else? Give me some institutions that will shape our cultural capital.
School.
School. Excellent. Education. Church. Excellent. What else? What other things shape you?
Politics.
Politics. Yeah.
Government.
Yeah. What else? Family, sports teams, excellent. All these other institutions, right? Language, right? The things that we think of when we say culture, but we find difficult to define, right? All these things, these multifarious things that shape our culture, that will affect, that play a big part in my habits, and that will affect the way that I speak, the way that I carry myself, yeah, the way that I interact, the words that I have available, the information that I have available. That, for example, when I sit down for a job interview, is worth something. Cultural capital. Or when I sit down on a bus, someone will be able to read these cues without even talking to me. It may be stereotypes, but they will read them, and they will interpret them, and they will judge me, and that has a currency. Excellent. What other capital? What's symbolic capital? Beautiful.
Like, I'm a doctor, so you have that. That's the exemplary on my statement.
I'm a doctor.
So,
How you going, dude? Which class are you after? I don't reckon this is the right one, man. Yeah. This is education sociology, my friend. Sorry, dude. Thanks. But what? We don't have time to talk. But what do you mean? I'm a doctor. I'm awesome, right? What does that have?
the amount of prestige you have.
Excellent.
Social.
Prestige, status. Yeah, my symbolic position within a social structure. Right? These social structures that interpret, they give us the language and the cues to be able to interpret things like cultural, social, and symbolic capital. Yeah, they're the norms that give currency to these different realms of capital that Bourdieu talks about. Yeah, and being a doctor in this society is worth more than others. Yeah, certainly it's being a doctor might be a little less in a university because everyone's a bloody doctor. Right, but it might be more in an environment. So my value as a doctor is incredibly more at the primary school than it is here. And I'm just a teacher here. There, I'm a teacher, but I'm a doctor. I mean, I'm no better than the other teachers there. But somehow, there is an interpretation of my doctor status that affects my symbolic position within the structure, and that gets me stuff. Yeah, that prestige gets you stuff. Yeah. Oh, awesome. All right. So let's turn to how are we going for time? Let's turn to this issue of the rural versus, the rural versus the urban. So we now know that there are certain things that shape us, shape our sensibilities, our beliefs, our practices, our tendencies, yeah, our attitudes. They shape our understanding of how we should be in the world. Remember, the gender issue is, in the paper was all about how women should and shouldn't be, yeah, how we should be in the world. Let's now turn our eyes towards questions of geographical location, specifically rural versus urban. Talk to me about some of the issues, the structural issues that might affect someone's desire to go to school or finish school or go to uni if they lived in the country.
A lot of the jobs are more things that you do out of school, like so like all the apprenticeships and things like that. There's more of that kind of work in rural places.
What kind of work? More,
Agricultural.
let's call it non-professional. Yeah? Does that make sense? Because usually professional means going to university. Yeah, trade.
So they're more likely to drop out and do that, because that means they'll get work.
Yeah, high dropout high dropout. What else?
It's skilled labour.
Yeah, sweet. Sweet.
That's good.
Do you like
Yeah, I
that?
love it.
Correct. Yeah, guys. I've got this.
I've got this. All right. Is it though?
Huh?
Is it though?
No, I meant it's more skilled labour. That's what we call it, as in trades and skilled labour.
No.
Sorry. More skilled labour.
Cool. We're on the same page. All right, gang. What else?
I think there can say that 1/3 of the population of kids who reach year 12 or are from rural, but only 1/6 of university students are from rural. So that's a big 50% drop in how many hiring.
Yes. So, how would you say that they don't want to go to uni? This is the thing. Why wouldn't they?
The same reason we don't want to pack up our lives and go out to the west.
Well, what would it? So, what's that an indication of?
West? I don't know. It's not west.
Well, what is that an indication? We don't want to pack up our lives and go somewhere. What's that an indication?
I think it's also connected to like your family. If you live in a rural area, your parents could own a farm or something like that. So because it's like what I was saying before, because they've done it, you then think, oh, I'm going to do it too because that's what my family does. If you live in an urban area, mum and dad might own, like a business, and so you think, oh, well, I'll go and work for the business because that's what mum and dad do.
Excellent.
I think I read this, I could be wrong though, that there's no financial support from the government because they have high property assets but they just don't have the income.
So, do you know how you get off study?
By being independent from your family.
Or-
over 20.
But if you're not, if you're 18,
That
you
comes
left
off your parents.
off your parents what?
Income.
Income and assets.
Income, assets.
Assets, yeah.
It's not off their income. It's off their assets. So if I have a $15 million property, but I have no income, I don't get it. I'll stay.
But they've got to stay at home and because their parents can't afford to support them.
So economic. Yeah, excellent. What else? What other issues make it difficult for someone in the country? You started talking about packing up and going out west. What's that an indication of?
Lack of access
Lack of access to what?
to like universities or schools.
So can we call that location, remoteness, access. Access is big. Schools.
Public transportation.
Excellent. What else do they not have access to? Oh,
Internet.
internet. So technology and communication.
The beach.
I'm leaving that off. What else? Rural school.
Even health
Health.
is further away.
Health. What else?
I don't know the exact word, but social, as in the amount of people they can have relationships.
Social networks.
Social networks.
Social capital. Remember? What else? What is someone in a rural school not getting that you were getting from being in an urban environment?
Different subjects.
Subject choice. What else?
Face-to-face time with the teacher as well.
Excellent. What else?
Variety.
Resources.
Resources. What else? There's loads. I know. I can see it in you. There's loads. Come on. Give me some stuff. Subjects, resources, staff.
Exposure to like more multicultural societies.
Beautiful experiences. Diversity.
Funding.
Funding. Beautiful. Excellent. Please excuse my scrawl on the whiteboard. I'm a doctor. Alrighty, gang. So what we're going to do, heaps of them, right? Size of school, that sort of stuff. But you've done pretty well. Yeah. These things form a range of structural limitations that prevent people in rural areas from feeling like they can finish school and go to higher education, that they should finish school and go to higher education, and most importantly, that they should want to. Yeah, these things affect students' perceptions, their impressions, their motivations, their choices, their opportunities. Yeah? And it's all about being in a local area. Gender is a big one, as we saw in the reading as well, right? What we're going to do now, folks, is we're going to look at a couple of specific readings. Can I get you all, anybody who has a BYO device like an iPad or a computer, please log into your Moodle site. Get into the RE main page and scroll to the bottom and you'll see a couple of links to week 3 readings. I'm going to ask anybody with devices to use them because I've only got a few spare hard copies to share around. So I'm going to share around the hard copies to people that don't have access. You might have to share that one for the time being. You guys share that for the time being.
Yeah, mine is.
No, it's...
Another one.
Oh, no, don't worry, we'll do it in class. It's all good. I'll be here right with you all the way. It's going to be fine. Another one? Bloody hell, I'm a teacher. I don't want to read. You're welcome. This side and this side. We'll give you one here. I'll talk you through it in a second, folks. So get the thing up. And I'm going to try and get as many out. So as many people we might be able to. Okay, you can choose one. Choose either the James or the Alloway one. One more here to share. And, we choose James. Yes. I'll swap it. I'll put it together to do this one. Alright guys, listen up to the instructions please folks. So, before you read this, I was talking to a couple of you before class and you were saying things like, you know, we've got this bloody digital map coming up, it's all really difficult. What are you've got quite a big workload on. You've got all these stupid bloody readings that your tutor makes you read. Don't you hate that? All these pressures on you. What other pressures do you have that make university difficult? Work. You've got to manage work with university. What else? Home life with university. What else? Social life with university. Really important things. Rent. Heaps of stuff. Along with the added pressure of having to pass your classes and all the rest of it. It's hard. Yeah? Statistically, there is massive underrepresentation of marginalised people at university. So on a very superficial level, I can make the assumption that most of us here are relatively privileged compared to the most marginalised people in Australia. So if we find it hard, how difficult must it be for people who are extremely marginalised, from rural locations, from Indigenous populations, yeah? For women as opposed to men in some circumstances. Right? So connect with your own sense of challenge coming from a privileged position, and now what I want you to do is start to connect and create some, engage in some representational thinking to start trying to engage with people who are more marginalised than us. Okay, in that light, as I said to you before, it's not, when you're doing your readings, sometimes it's hard to find the time to do all those readings. Sometimes you have to learn to pick up the main points in a short period of time. That's what we're going to do today. Not only because we don't have a lot of time, but it's a good skill to pick up. I'm not suggesting this is what you should do in your weekly readings, but if you at least start trying to go through them and try and pick out something, then you'll have something to contribute to class. You guys are doing pretty well, so it's not a major drama. What I want you to do is we're going to have about 10 minutes. I want you to go through these readings, pick out the main points. For those of you with the James reading, we're going to analyse his argument, find out whether or not he thinks something like location is more important than economic or socio-economic factors in shaping students' sense or beliefs about whether or not they can or should or want to finish school and go to uni. If you've got the Alloway reading, we're going to look at the primary things that shape rural students' ambitions towards university, and we're going to see if there's anything we can fix. Is there anything that is fixable? Is there anything that is not fixable? Are there things that we can fix, and how can we fix them? Why are they fixable? Why are they not fixable? Yeah? So go nuts, everybody. Just take the time to pull out the main points. You don't have a lot of time. Be efficient, be strategic. In the end, we'll start to discuss. We'll bring everything together and we'll see if we can make some sense out of it. Any questions? Awesome. What's it about? How do they do it? What does it mean? Remember the importance of topic sentences for each paragraph. It would help good guidance. Another 8 minutes. Don't worry folks if you don't get everything. Between us as a group, we can put it together and fill in all the gaps. Fixable, non-fixable, look at that. Wowzers. What do you got?
We were just talking about how some of the kids who are in these rural areas, they're in a lot of the situations they're aware of their obstacles as well.
Yeah.
And then it's what we feel is like it's then up to their personal habitus to say if they want to kind of confront those challenges or if they accept them. And the contributing factors then are obviously what their family prioritise and how people are in their community.
choice is often limited by the habits or enabled by it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I'll try and clear up my definitions. I got happiness is a deep-seated way of being.
I would say, remember what we got before, it is a deep-seated way of being, which is not a conscious thing. Your life is not a conscious process. There's a lot of
How I
things,
perceive it is though.
but not always. It's something, your perception itself is not conscious. Even just the process of the information going through your eyes, sensations, it's a combination of the two. It kind of shifts in between the two, right? So the way that you live in the world is sense through your body and thought through your mind as well. Some people say there's more than that, right? And the habits incorporates all those sorts of things. It's your experience of the world. I experience things that I don't see. I experience things that I don't think about. I feel things all the time. I feel cold and hot. I feel, alienated, but I don't think about them necessarily. Yeah, I experience it. It's a way of being in the world. Definitely, it's not necessarily conscious. Yes, again, interpretation requires a conscious process. It's very tough, and it's not always interpreted. As teachers, you'll learn the importance of not valorising cognitive processes.
Are you, like, I've heard it used in the sense of a capital C and a lower C, or a capital M and a lower M, which are really process saying focusing on the mind.
That's it, Freud and ego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that focuses on the mind.
Habits with phenomenology, practice theorists are decidedly not psychoanalytic, but we don't have to go into that right now, because that will take us on a different path that we'll get really excited about. But what I do want you to do is what we said before, it's a lived experience. Lived experience is not conscious necessarily, not only conscious. We learn to dance not by going with the foot here, you sort of rock up into a room and you kind of dance through your body, sort of feel it, right? So it's not necessarily
lived experience.
Yeah.
Not always consciously.
Not always conscious, sometimes conscious, but
You
lived.
can like think of it as a
Baby doesn't think cognitively. It does.
It was interesting. It's really
We can think about it, but baby doesn't do it. You can tell a baby when you want to walk, not going to walk.
Yeah, yeah.
The immune system, the parenting is. So, yeah, don't just valorize the conscious
Yeah, and I'm very big.
when you think about habits.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, guys. That's why I've is such a tricky subject. So folks, start talking with each other. We're going to start bringing these things to the class in 1 minute. So talk to each other. Get your mouths working, get your ideas flowing. But it's a really good question.
No, like, I just utilizing each other like this. I'll forget that in 5 minutes. Actually, I've got this phone here. I can pretend.
What happens when you go into the psychoanalysis as opposed to the psychoanalytic? It's not measurable. Doesn't mean it isn't there.
There's and then I've got population mass, as you would expect. ESL students, gender, disability, SAs. They're almost all because that one's kind of big. Because if I did just gender, then I'd be like disability.
But it affects really fast. You can't measure alienation. You can't measure self-consciousness.
How you see which would probably be a smart way to say it.
You can't measure belonging.
Yeah, that's right. It just depends on how you
How I feel.
Don't make me waste your brain.
Oh no, you're too late for that.
Alright gang, let's rock. We don't have too much time. I know that they're very complex subjects, but we can start just playing with them. Right? You don't have to get them. Listen, if it means anything, folks, if it means anything, don't worry about me, folks. I'm just a teacher. I've got nothing important to say. Nothing important to say at all. No, folks, listen up. If it means anything, it took me about 4 years to understand habitus. So don't put any pressure on yourself. This is the second week you've been exposed to it. It took me like 8 years to understand phenomenology and performance theory and practice theory, of which this is a part. So don't put pressure on yourself. Okay? You don't have to get it all. Just start the process going. And it will slowly unravel and it will slowly reveal